Hi, everybody. Hope you all can see me here. Trying to get this situation. Okay, hopefully that's better. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's okay. Hi, Kingfisher and Judy and Cheryl and 2535. Hey, Peggy. I need to get back to last night. So I was interrupted and I had to go. So I still need to finish that one. I might go on tomorrow in the afternoon because I know that the hearings start in the evening. So I will try to come on in the afternoon, probably around 1 or 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So we'll see. Hi, Tim and Tara. I'll just call you Tara. Sweet Pea, P and BJ, Renee, Robin, Coriel. Hey, sweet darling Lulu, Darren, Twin Flames, Polywanda, Coriel, Sabrina, Stephanie, Cheryl. Hey, Terry. Hey, Freda. Oh, it's not finished, Freda. I still need to finish it. I only did it for about an hour. Hey, Bam Bam. Hi, Coriel and Deba. Oh, thank you, Peggy. You're the sweetest. Sending you a big hug. Hi, Nivra. I'm in the Pacific, Sweet Pea, Pacific time zone out in California. So I don't know where you're at, but I'm usually 3 hours behind the East Coast. That's how it works. Hey, Kathy W. So tonight, I don't know what it is in the UK. I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you. Let's see. So tonight I figured we would hop into Mo Brooks. Oh, well, that sucks, Sweet Pea. You can always catch it on replay. Hey, Connie. So I'm using the ones that the little cards that Johnny sent me. Because the ones I used yesterday are over here. Those are the banged up ones. So hi, Tammy in Canada. How are you? So we're going to try to get in on Mo Brooks tonight. Hopefully I have no interruptions, knock on wood. Let me see. Hold on. Let me get over here. I'm going to be off the chat for a second. Okay. Okay. Interesting. One second. Okie dokie. Okay. Alrighty, I hope you guys can see that okay. Is that better? Hey, Joanne. How are you? You snuck in here while I was looking down. I didn't even see. Hey, Carol. So I hope that this is a little bit better. You guys can see that much better. So let me see here. Alrighty. So for Mo Brooks, the timeline set for this tableau is 1 year. He is landing here on the second column, on the second vertical column, and he's still on the second horizontal column. So by position, he's doing well, meaning everything above him is what is on his mind. This is where he's at and where he's going. Actually, this is his current present state. This is where he's going. This is everything else that's where he's pretty much in control of the situation. So just based on his position alone, he is looking okay. There's something here with him around a businessman, quite possibly. The fish is the king of diamonds, which has to do with finance and wealth and prosperity. And it's also many. Okay. This is the card of an entrepreneur as well, for self-employment. But what is, oh, thank you, Joanne. I took tomorrow and Friday off of work. I need a mental break because of everything that's been going on with the health situation with the family. So like I was saying earlier, for those of you that just came in, I know that the hearings start tomorrow evening. So I will try to be on during the afternoon. We'll see how that works out. What time do the hearings start tomorrow? Does anybody know? $8 p.m. Eastern, so that's 5 o'clock my time. Okay, thank you, lucky girl. So I will try to come on in the afternoon, probably around 1 or 2 o'clock. For those of you, because I took tomorrow and Friday off. If anybody needs to, if you're at work or can't get to it, the videos will always be available on replay. Hey, T-Barb, how are you, my darling? Big hugs to you. It's nice seeing you again. Hope you're doing well. Hi, Elaine. I didn't see you earlier either. I was looking down and everybody just kind of snuck in. I'm so sorry. So anyways, getting back to Mo Brooks's present. This is his present, what's going on with him right now. There is something going on in some sort of a transaction or some sort of commerce, because these two here are commerce. Now, with anchor sits far away, but ship, fish, and anchor, when those are close by in a cluster, that's really good for commerce. He's got 2 of the 3. And because the ship has to do with commerce and enterprise, and this has to do with wealth and prosperity and consulting. Okay, there's something going on with him where he may be consulting or he may be in some sort of business transaction where he is being rewarded, quite possibly, if I read this literally, for energy. Okay, so there might be some sort of business reward for him in energy. Just because the sun is right here, which is success, it's happiness, it's joy, it's energy, vibrant. Another way to interpret this, you have fish sitting in the house of clover, which has to do with luck and opportunity. So he's had a little bit of luck with some sort of business venture. He sits in house scythe, which has to do with danger, very quick decisions, accidents, surgeries, separations, risks, something that's being cut away. Think of the scythe acting as sort of the Tower card in tarot, sort of that energy, sort of. So business, commerce, where he's being rewarded for energy, also opportunity here in business, or for the many, because fish has to do with abundance and many. Okay, for him and his decisions, where he's been rewarded for his loyalty, clover in the house of dog, for a project that has to do with energy. Thank you, Karen. But also the many and him, and something that he has been keeping secret or he had knowledge of coming to light and being illuminated for all to see. Because sun sits in house book. Okay. Now, the corners of his tableau are ship, ring, woman, and letter. So there was some sort of an agreement that had to do with transitioning something, a transfer of some sort, and also an agreement for travel with a woman. And there's documentation here because of letter. So written correspondences, documents, paperwork, mail, results, written communication. Now it mirrors here to birds. So we're looking at voicemails and voice transcripts as well. Okay. I do not know who he was in contact with. It's just saying that there was an agreement for some sort of a transition or travel or a transfer that he was in agreement with a woman. And there's record of that. Okay. Let's see the heart of his tableau. There is a desire for power, and the growth for those that are loyal, or the growth of loyalty and friendships. But there's a desire for power here. Also a desire for financing. Lots and lots and lots of financing. Good fortune in your finances. Resources. Okay. However, when we follow this line across, the news of him, okay, news of Brooks changing and relocating or improving something. Storks sits in house whip, and you got whip right underneath it. So a fight to change something for the desire for power or a desire for financing is suddenly lost, and you suffer the losses here. And then what do you call this? Coffin is sitting in house stars. So it's widespread losses as well. And there's an end to success. Okay. Now let's see here. Lily's sits below him. Even though he's up here, Lily's is down here. It doesn't matter how far it still sits below. And again, this is virtue. So by it sitting below him, not virtuous, a liar. He's got snake over his head, liar. Okay. However, whoever this woman is here has lilies above her head. So this is a person of good virtue, and may also be involved in some sort of investigation before a committee here with this woman. So we could be looking at Liz Cheney in this instance, because how you get these two to talk, to get man and woman to talk, you go man to son, coffin to woman. So he suffers a serious blow to his finances, as well as loss of power. And she has the receipts, and she's bringing them. She sits on house moon, which is honor. It's fame. And she's also crowned by lilies, which is virtue. Okay. So she is a person of honor, of fame, prestige. She gets recognition for exposing the project or exposing a secret for him. Okay. Now, if we box him in, we can read this simply as the transition and many, many, many lies. Okay. Snake sits on house ship. Okay. So lying about the transition. All right. News about him trying to change something through a fight. Stork sits in house whip. You got whip right underneath it. And then uncertainty and doubt. And the reward is disputed this way. You have, let me see here, clouds in the house of storks. So there's a lot of uncertainty in regards to a change, what they were trying to change or what they were trying to improve or promote. You have bouquet in the house of dog. So rewarding loyalty, but then you have whip in the house of Tower. We saw this as well yesterday. Did we? No, we did not see this in Jim Jordan's Grand Tableau. I have misspoken. He's going to have to fight something in court, and that shows up in the next column ahead. Okay. Now, because ship sits in house rider, okay, these two are movement cards. This is also a movement card. This is a movement card. This is a movement card. Okay. There's a lot of things are moving forward for him, but it's moving forward in a sense where it brings losses, misfortune, and serious legal issues. Whip in the house of Tower. Now, where was I going with this? Changing the transition. The news of the delivery and changing the transition. So here we have quite possibly the insurrection, even though Tower sits, where is Tower? Way down here. It's not talking to it. But Tower is sitting in house Fish. Okay. Disputing the transition this way. Changing the transition. False praise this way. Uncertainty in regards to the change or the improvement, which caused a lot of uproar and fighting. Storks Knights to Clouds. Clouds sits on house Stork. Stork sits on house Whip, and Whip is in house Tower. So that's how I got that. Visitors that were fighting and aggressive. Okay. He Knights down here to letter. His results or his mail, written documentation, his communications and meetings that are documented, birds in house letter. That comes up. But in this next column ahead, so this is, what month are we in? We're in June. If this is the column for July, there's something that gets disputed or will be disputed in the courts in regards to his meetings, and there will be he will have to go, because this here is an invitation. Okay, like an invitation, and right here on the line of fate, he's got Tower in the house of Fish. Okay. So that's the final word of the tableau. He's going to have to go to court, but it's, according to this, the legal disputes may start around next month. Now, letter is also a referral. So we could be looking at how he's linked to the transition. Okay. And the woman has the referral, if that makes sense at all. And here's the link, the conspiracy link up here, because here we have the transition of the many, and also some sort of business deal that was made here that is a lie about the transition. To recognize the election, steal it with mice, thievery, and win here with Clover, because this is luck and opportunity and chance, a very lucky surprise, good fortune. And then here with the ring, how it's linked. These two here mirror. So if these are thieves, and this is the link, there's your criminal conspiracy up here. But it shows up ahead of him this way. Okay, so it doesn't appear to be something super, super immediate, even though that may come out in committee. It still hangs over his head for a while. Okay. Let me see here. So another thing to note, he's got tree close by, and he's got, because he knights here to tree. Okay. In the house of tree, you have crossroads, and right above crossroads, you have heart, and he's got whip right here. There may be something chronic to do with his health. that could be heart related or associated to the pathways of the heart. So perhaps arteries or something. I'm not going to touch that any further. The birds would be the throat and thyroids. Let me see here. The nose and mouth, the stomach, and diet, intestines and colon. But what's immediately touching it is this and this. And crossroads sitting, and also tree next to crossroads. Crossroads is in the house of tree. So there might be that issue, and I'm just going to leave that alone. Let's see here. Okay, so lying and fighting the progress verbally here down this column. But that takes place perhaps in some sort of a court setting, because Whip sits on House Tower. Okay, he's got key in his own house. And down this diagonal, and if I follow this diagonal down like this, which is a line of influence, and follow it this way, he's a key witness. The transition, him fighting, and there's your answer. He has the answers. The results are successful to speak, to meet and negotiate for answers to the house of something that is widespread and very successful, that could be televised, okay, for the committee and a woman. So that shows up this way. But he's defied the congressional subpoena that I know of. Is that correct? He's defied the congressional subpoena. Oh, that would be great. If I can get more thumbs up, that would be wonderful, you guys. Thank you, Freda, for reminding everybody, or Sharon Sipe. You don't know T-Barb? Because I had him on the list as people that had defied subpoenas. I could be wrong. Does anybody know if Mo Brooks defied the congressional subpoena? Because it's saying here that he's a key witness. He has the answers to the House, special committee, select committee, televised, broadcasted for the public. You think he testified? He claims he hasn't gotten a subpoena. Let me Google that real quick. Let me Google it. It says on May 13th, 2022, Congressman Mo Brooks and four other Republican congressmen were issued subpoenas. Yeah, it says that they did issue him a subpoena. And then it says that he had previously turned down a request to voluntarily speak with the committee investigating the deadly attacks on the U.S. Capitol. And it says Mo Brooks and four other Republican congressmen were issued subpoenas on Thursday from the House panel that's investigating the 1/6/21 attack on the Capitol. They asked for his voluntary cooperation, but he declined. But it shows here legal issues. Let me see Tower. Huh. And there's something weird on this line of fate about a school for children and something that is achieved there that brings serious suffering. Book and tower, an institution that has books or an institution for learning with children. That has stability, that has perseverance, that's very solid and grounded. But this sits on house. This sits on house cross, which is misfortune and grief, burdens, pain, suffering, and hardships. So, okay, that's where I got my list from. Thank you, Terry, because I have that list that I was working off of. Okay, just wanted to double check I didn't like screw something up. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Yeah, he knights here to tree. So that thing we talked about with this right here around his health, something chronic. Just leave that be. I'm going to leave that be. Man to moon. So he could be very quite emotional right now. And perhaps also thinking about his dreams or his celebrity, how to become a celebrity and very famous, or more like in his case, infamous. He knights here to letter. So his mail, his results, his written documentation and his meetings this way, and voicemails, because birds sits on letter. That's the only places I can get him tonight. But he's sitting on house scythe, danger, surgeries, accidents, risks, separations. So at it this way, these are not good, especially this right here. Okay. And mice is far away as well. So it shows suffering for a while. The mice also knights here to coffin, which can be read as a nervous breakdown. Okay. And this is a sudden suffering ends. But there's something here around his power and his finances that suddenly suffer and ends. It's like a quick blow, like a very swift blow. He's got this and this. Okay, so a circle of support and friends are out of his reach. So it's almost like he's tied in with these people, but at the end of the day, there's almost like having to act independently. And can you guys hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay, try refreshing your page. Okay, I'm just going to give everybody a few minutes. Thank you, lucky girl. You are so cool. Thank you so much. Okay, good. Yeah, sorry. It must be like a YouTube internet issue because some people were having issues, others weren't. Sorry about that, but I forgot what I was talking about. I was saying it, it's almost like when the shit hits the fan, he's gonna. It's kind of like scattering and working independently, because dog sits far. These two aren't talking, okay? And then dog to garden, your social friend group. Hey, sunflower. It's far from him. If that makes sense. So it's kind of like, it's kind of like when the crap hits the fan, scatter and cover your own ass. Okay. Let's see here. He's got dog on house mountain and mountain right next to it. So friendships and loyalties are blocked and delayed. Let's see here. A desire for power is suddenly and swiftly removed, cut off. The stability and growth of friendships are delayed. And also the stability and the friendships not only delay, but the delay of the election. Mountain in the house of crossroads. And it nights as well. Crossroads here to mountain, delaying the election. The election suffers. Multiple people that are guilty for changes here. Changing the election, and some sort of a creative project with moon, creative project that was conjured up in the house or within the entourage to change. What house is this in? Whip. Okay. To aggressively change and put things in their favor in the results. But that's on a line of influence here. And then this is Queen of Diamonds here. Okay. Jack of Hearts, Queen of Hearts, Queen of Diamonds, King of Diamonds, Jack of Diamonds. And this sits on house tree, okay? And it goes down here to mountain, and mountain is sitting on house crossroads. And because this is a person, Queen of Diamonds, and because crossroads also talks about alternatives and options, I'm wondering if this is also in reference to the fake electors, because here, these two mirror something false that is a lie. There's your creative solution, and there's your alternatives to steal a win. And that's the agreement across. Now, if that's the case, how does that go? So we could look at fish and crossroads, house and sun. So many options for the entourage or the house or the administration to be successful. Okay. Here would be lying and betraying. Areas that you're lying and betraying, more than one. Maybe, well, this is a queen and this is a queen, but I'm going to put that aside for now. This is number 7. This is 22. So I don't know if there's 22 false electors or 29. Let me see. 29, maybe more, because this right here, many. Okay, this is 34, 7 and 22. I don't know how many false electors they had, but lying electors, the entourage and the administrations, and how they were negotiating and talking about it with the birds, talking. Okay. Let's see here. This way, it's house and mice, stars and crossroads, mice, stars and house. So election stolen with mice, thieves. Okay. Success, for the entourage and the administration. This way here, it would be opportunities, alternatives and choices in the elections for opportunities to win. There is the rally, a large group of people, parties, audiences, anything public, community, social, okay, the society. And then here with the administration, the entourage. And then this way, we're looking at the options that they were looking at in agreement and the agreements that were made. And then a woman here that's famous or has high honors that's in the house. And the house sits on housewoman. Okay. And she is a star here. If you follow this way, house on housewoman, there's a woman quite literally in the house with the stars here, who is very lucky, who's successful, who has a vision, who is able to guide, okay, align the committee and the public, and she's has a lot of fame and is a person of really good virtue who is investigating, who's very passionate about the investigation and also very passionate about her work. Yeah, her work and what she's investigating. So I'm thinking this might be Liz Cheney because she's sitting well here. She knights over here to cross. They have burdened and made this woman suffer. Okay, she's carrying a lot of burden on her shoulders. She knights here to mountain. They have put her under pressure or blocked her, okay, from power this way. Her recognition to power has been blocked. And then here's the committee, okay. She's still very public. So she knights there under pressure. And then she knights here to anchor, which means she is she's very stable. She has goals. She has perseverance. It's like a pit bull with a bone. She's not going to quit until she gets it done. And it is very hard work. And there have been significant sacrifices. Anchor sits on cross. Okay. She's been sacrificed and she's making sacrifices, but it's all honorable with good intentions and virtue, if that makes any sense at all. Okay. She also has Lily's knights here to house. Both of these are kings, king of hearts, king of spades. So she may have, because Lily's has to do with elders, and this has to do with family, she may have a very well recognized father figure in the home. Also, this is not about Liz Cheney, but if I'm looking at her in the elections, this would be her elections, okay? So it would go crossroads to house to woman to ring. She's looking good for her. She's looking good according to this, even though this is not hers. She's looking good on her elections. I don't know what the polling says, but it looks like in her hometown, she is successful this way. Okay. So we'll have to see, but that's June, July, August, September, October, November. This is here in December. I don't know when Wyoming votes. So, but if in regards to her elections, she's looking good. And also she's sitting on house. She's got that security. She's got that sanctuary. She's comfortable. She's got a good foundation. In her hometown. So whatever, and I'm not here to rehabilitate Liz Cheney. I think her policies are abhorrent. I think she's a terrible human being. But on this issue, I can back her. If this is, in fact, Liz Cheney. Okay, so also, because he's got tree sitting close by, okay, if you follow this line, this happens. Now, I'm not saying tickets to the park. I'm not saying that. But just, hey, Jenny, just tuck that somewhere. I'm not saying tickets to the park because it lands far away. He's got to go this way. Okay. But this is close, and we've already discussed this situation here that's around the tree. Now, this way here, we're looking at options and choices by a very powerful aide to the administration. But there's more than one. There's more than one very strong, perhaps quite wealthy, because we're talking about bear. This could also be someone that is overweight. Okay. But we're looking at, well, there's several here, but this is a character. Looking at the pip, Queen of Diamonds, King of Hearts. Okay. Crossroads is multiples, but it's also two. Okay. Something here around perhaps two very prominent, powerful aides to that in the administration. Also, two other very powerful people within the House of Representatives, because Towers right here. Okay. So, let's see here. Did we already do this little box here? I think we did. Because I mean, they just indicted. What was that guy's name? Who did they just indict the other day that they cuffed and perp walked? Who was that? Navarro. Okay, thank you. Now, I'm not sure when his elections are for his state. Mo Brooks is Alabama, is he not? His elections would be up here. And all I can see is what's right around it. Okay. So the results of his election would go this way. It's almost like his constituents at home keep him there. Like it's almost like he wins re-election. By hook or by crook, he wins it. Because if this is the election, there's power from the loyalist at home. Read this way, the election stolen, but he wins it and he's committed this way. Does that make sense? So it's almost like he goes back. When does anybody know when his hey Peggy, Peter Navarro, thank you so much. I don't know anything about who's running and who's running against him in Alabama. If he's running on, I have no idea. But this way, it shows election, power, loyalty at home. Election, missing, stolen, or something is taken away. There may be some anxiety around it, but there's a win here, and there's a commitment. Well, that's great, Amy, but he still hasn't been referred. He still hasn't been referred, and in a court of law, he hasn't been proven to be involved, even though there's a pile of paperwork, a pile above it. Oh, his election is next year, June 21st, 2023? That's next year, T-Barb. Oh, 2022? Well, here it shows that he's successful. And then over here, the results is that it's a continuation. Letter in the House of Ring. And here it shows power at home and a win this way. By hook or by crook, he takes it. The question is, does he stay? Because here it shows, based on the corners, and this right here, I don't know when that happens. Perhaps if I'm looking at time, his line of fate is this. Okay, so we have the book, the tower, the child, and the anchor. That's his line of fate. Book sits in house key. Tower sits in house fish. Child sits in house anchor. Anchor sits in house cross. Okay. One way to read this is books in an institution for children is stable and it perseveres. So something around perhaps an institution for children, a school. Okay. But there's suffering here because this anchor sits on cross. Okay. So answering or having a significant knowledge with book in the house of key. Tower sits on fish. Okay. So many institutions or a private, well, not private institution, but more like some sort of a company. So maybe like charter schools or some shit. Child sits on house anchor, new achievements, and prolonged, persistent suffering. Okay. So one way to read this has to do with something around schools for little people. Another way to read this is prolonged suffering. This right here, 1 year, 1 year minimum. So far as timing is concerned, but it shows prolonged suffering, and also new achievements. So is there a referral? That's the question. Does he get referred? Because here it shows legal fights. Let me see. Right here it shows legal fights. Tower knights over to whip. Tower knights over to dog. Tower knights over to stars. Success in the courts. The referral would be here, though, because it's mail, something that gets forwarded, correct? Let me see here. I would say I would say, if I am interpreting moral values declining, honey, he's got lilies underneath his feet. So I don't think he's in any position to be talking about morals, because this is the card of morals. And that ain't looking good. Would he get referred to DOJ? I see legal fights. This would be the referral. But what's weird is it's not like, I don't know if it's DOJ, because if I follow the line this way, it's something smaller than big government. So it might be like a state, because there's something here about phone calls to negotiate something for success. So I don't know if he was part of not the fake elector scheme, but perhaps calling states and negotiating for them to make changes to the results. Something like that, because if I follow this line, it's showing more domestic. But here, if I follow this line and go this way, the results, successful meeting to answer, and then I go down, government. This way. Let me see something. Oh, they just passed, Cheryl, they just, that Betsy DeVos thing that was happening where, you know, when Betsy DeVos was part of the Trump administration, and they were funneling money away from public schools and giving it all to charter schools because, you know, she's in the business, so lining her own pockets, grifting off of taxpayer dollars. I think something just passed in the House the other day where they just killed that bill. So let me see. Hold on. Ugh. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm trying to dig something out of the. Okay, so T-Barb, I'm using your charms. So I asked if Mo Brooks would be referred to DOJ. I got man. Believe this is Clover and dog. That's looking like a yes. So man, opportunity, or man, he has a chance here to be reliable and trustworthy, dependable. So because here I'm seeing legal problems. And then debating results, projects that were private, or projects, records of projects, voicemails, transcripts. Let me see here. Where else can I go with this? Down this column, losses are delayed. Something stolen, losses, There's a loss right here with a sudden rupture, delayed, but then it opens up and it's successful. But this is widespread metastasizes, okay, between the loyalist here. In the network, well, this is the network, the entire network of the loyalist. This mice, okay, mice sits in house clouds, okay. Clouds has to do with problems, uncertainties, confusion, doubt. It's the worst card you can possibly look at. Now, the clouds in this spread is only affecting these right here and this one here. Why? Because the clear side, using direction, the clear side is this way. Okay, but it's still close. So it's affecting these. If I knight it this way, it's affecting the fish, it's affecting the birds and the storks. So this way it's saying that he's able to overcome the problems. And also the sun is sitting right here. So it's kind of like, the clouds are parting and you're able to see. But in this case, if this is the shitstorm, now that everything is clear, you'll be able to see, which brings problems that are chronic, if that makes any sense at all. Chronic issues that he's going to have a hard time fighting. And he's close enough to birds through knighting that birds acts in a negative way, if that makes sense. And in this line, okay, even though the clear side of the clouds is to the right, it's followed here by whip. So it's almost like, yeah, you think you're over it, but then it repeats again. There's a repetition, and then it returns here with storks, if I'm making any sense at all. So as this timeline moves forward this way, what I was saying was mice sits on clouds. So clouds has to do with confusions and doubts. Sometimes it could be quite literally weather, foggy thinking, irritability, indecision, confusion. And then you have mice sitting on top of it, which mice has to do with worries, losses, and theft. This is your thief. Okay. So mice don't work alone. They work in groups. Okay. And here we're seeing the criminal conspiracy for a win. Mice mirrors here to ring, a team of people working in unison, linked for a win. The win is a lie because you have clover on snake. False opportunity, false win. Trouble with the risk, okay? And then you have ring in the house of coffin and coffin following right underneath. Ring has to do with marriages, contracts, links, okay? Agreements, relationships, partnerships, completions. So with these two, you have a team of people working together like a team, a group, a link for a false win to steal something. That is ruptured here. Scythe in the house of fox, ruptured through fraud or cutting off work, dangerous work. Let me see. Doing something very dangerous and underhanded. Because fox is work and employment, but it's also very cunning, manipulative. What's devious? That sort of thing. And then with Mountain here, Mountain sits on House Crossroads to delay choices or to block choices, to block them, delay, block, obstruct. And then here, something that is widespread and metastasized, to bring hope and luck and opportunity and success. Okay, so it's like he gets, like, even though this sits behind him and the sunny side is this way, based on this, it repeats. And this, it comes back around. And he's got cross far enough away, even though it's on his own line, it's too far. It's like, and then with anchor in the house of cross, it's almost like prolonged suffering, if that makes sense. Also, I don't think I mentioned it, I can't remember. He's got fish over his head. So not only some sort of a business venture, but also consulting. How he consulted something and was offering the energy, the win, the success this way. Okay? That's his present line. So that, if you go back and listen to what I said earlier and then what I just said now, those are different ways to interpret where he's at presently. Let me see. Where else can I look? This also has to do with something of value that has ended, or a partnership that has ended. It's emphasized here because ring sits in house cross, coffin, and coffin is right underneath it. So the ending of some sort of an agreement. And then because Fox is very resourceful, this could also be a very resourceful, intelligent woman here. The end of an agreement and a very resourceful, intelligent woman. Someone at work as well. This right here would tell me that if he was consulting something, there was an end to an agreement, or consulting to end an agreement with these. So if I read it this way, news about Brooks changing something and a desire for power. Above his head, transition, travel, the transfer of many, or the transfer of business and commerce, the transfer to consult, betrays, it's a lie, creative options and choices. This right here, changing the transition, the many here, many, the prosperity, the abundance, the consulting that is desired, lying about power, betraying power, problems around financing here as well. Now, with these three here, like I was saying earlier, action card, action card. This one is not an action card, but it's sitting on an action house, which is the house of ship. So we're looking at trouble around something that is trying to move, or something that is, because it's an action card. So it's kind of like, trouble with trying to move something. Hold on. Another way to read this is the transfer of wealth is a lot of trouble. And like I said, again, this is the card of entrepreneurship. I don't know what he was involved with. If like every other grifter in the Trump administration, grifting off the taxpayers, because this is commerce. But then there's trouble around it here. And this way, like I said earlier, there's something here in business where he grifted something in energy. But this is like the transfer of wealth. Transfer of business is a lie. And then business and him gifting energy, business of him gifting something successful. So he did something shady, and that's right here. But like I said, I don't know what businesses he was involved with, what he, if he perhaps made some business deals while Trump was in office to enrich himself like everybody else did. It was 4 years of just a smash and grab operation in the eye of the public, and nobody did a damn thing about it. So, but there's that. So I'll just wait and see if anything about that comes up, because I have no knowledge. I'm just trying to interpret this as best I can. The loyalists, the people that showed up to block the elections, they suffer and they've been sacrificed this way. More to come, because dog here knights to cross. Cross sits on house bear. Dog sits on house mountain, followed by mountain here. So, but that shows up ahead of him, so there may be more. And because of this line here and the several different ways that this can be interpreted, we're looking at not just people that went to the rally to show support, but because the house is right here, I would venture to say people that were advising Trump in the administration. So people in executive positions as well, because Bear sits right here. So now, when I say executive, that doesn't mean that they had a proper title, because this is saying that they guided and consulted and were kind of dependable and reliable. Do you see what I'm saying? So more like aides or people around Trump that were advising, if that makes sense. That shows up 3 columns ahead. So, and there's several of them. So whoever these people are, Giuliani, the crazy lady, the Kraken lawyer, there was a Navarro that just got arrested. Oh God, what's his name? Steve Bannon, Alex Jones. What's the other guy that was one of the lawyers that also defied a subpoena? Because here it shows that they get sacrificed and they suffer. Whoever these loyalist people are, because it's widespread in the network. And then unite this way. Dog knights here to tower, lawyer up, prolonged suffering and sacrifices, nervous, shitting their pants, thieves, very creative and emotional, suffering and sacrifices, in the party or part of the network, or very public, people that talked and negotiated about changing something. Okay? Changing and improving something. So people that were part of that inner circle. But that shows up ahead. Now, I don't know if Mo Brooks has siblings or there's siblings around him, because there's 2 siblings here. Well, siblings in general right here. So there's some siblings this way. Now, if I look here, this is a younger person, male, younger person, male. This is a woman, and this is a man. Because of the suit, King of Hearts, Queen of Hearts, and heart right here, I would venture to say a married couple. And this one here and this one here appear to be males, because this is a Jack and this is a Jack. Also, we have another Jack here, but there's siblings in the family, or siblings somewhere around this entourage of people that were aides. But these people answer in private. These people go and meet and negotiate and provide answers to the house. These people, the siblings, they appear to be part of a family. There's a heritage here. Speak and answer to the house. They provide answers to a woman in the house, in the house of woman. They negotiate something important about the administration or the entourage in regards to the aides. But like I said, this right here is sibling, and there's one person here, younger male, woman, and a man, but by suit appeared to be married. And this one here also part of the same thing, because this is heart, heart, and heart. So Queen of Hearts, Jack of Hearts, King of Hearts. So these 3 are like appear to be somehow in the same family, because tree also has to do with roots and ancestry. This one here is the Jack of Clubs. So this might be a different player, but there's a male here. And then here we have the Jack of Spades. So this is another male this way. I don't know who these are. These I can pair by the pip. So I'm not sure what to tell you about that. I'm not sure if this is Jared, Ivanka, and Eric Trump Jr. I don't know if they've gone to speak to the committee. So, but if I read this is siblings. Okay. Now, in regards to staffers, because this would be workers. Okay. People that were working, that were part of that agreement to steal something, because dog knights over here to mice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But there's more than that. There's more, and I know that the committee has gotten, what did they say, over 400 eyewitness testimonies already to the committee. So there's no way that I would be able to pinpoint a number. And here it's saying that it's vast with stars. Vast. Ay. I mean, hold on. Give me a second, you guys. I'll be right back. I'm going to go refresh my water, take a swig, and check on the kids downstairs, make sure everybody's behaving. And maybe get a snack. Peanut went to, I think he went to Costco. I'm not sure, but he brought home tempura shrimp. So yep, tempura shrimp. So I think mine's in the oven, or Maybe, hold on. I'm going to go check. Okay, everybody's still alive. And my tempura shrimp is in the microwave. If you guys have not gone, if you have a Trader Joe's near you, I highly recommend the coconut shrimp from Trader Joe's. And then they have this sauce at Trader Joe's. It's the sweet chili sauce. It's in a jar and it looks like red. And then you dip your coconut shrimp in that. It's so freaking delicious. So I'm going to ask my magic 8-ball. I found this. Well, Peanut found it. It was in the garage. I don't know what it was doing in there, but I'm going to ask the 8-ball if he's going to get criminally referred. Let me see. For fun and entertainment purposes only. Will Mo Brooks get referred for criminal conspiracy? Ask again later. Well, screw you. Screw you, 8-ball. Screw you. Okay. So he is the key. He is the key. He is important. He is important. Okay. So I'm going to look at this little box right here. Oh, you've had it before? It's really good, isn't it? Hey, T-Barb, do you have your cards available? Because I just asked again, will Mo Brooks get criminally referred? And I don't know if you can read that, but it says, most likely. Okay. So I'm going to look at key because it sits on his house. And this, the key is, it's answers, it's solutions, open, to open something. It can also close something. But it depends on the cards around it. Revelations, access. Okay. So I'm going to look at this. Now, tree, not only is it in regards to health because it sits close to him. We've already discussed that. Oh, thank you, Terry. The charm said yes. This is saying it might take a little bit. And because tree is very close, we've already discussed it because traditionally the closer tree is, you have to look at health. You want this far, far away to not indicate anything about health, but we've already discussed that. And from here, it looked like something chronic, perhaps the heart. This would be arteries because it lands in the house of tree. But tree is also very slow moving. Okay, it develops very slowly. Trees don't sprout up overnight unless you have a goddamn pepper tree like we've had on our property since we moved in, that we've been trying to kill for over 10 years, and those are so invasive. But anyways, it's a slow development. Okay, so it looks like whatever arguments. No, T-Barb, if he gets criminally referred. If you could for me, please, my darling. So it looks like the legal issues grow. They continue to grow, but it's a slow development. Thank you, Skoo-Man. Let's see what the Magic 8-Ball has to say for you, Skoo-Man. Hold on. Hold on, Skoo-Man. What does the Magic 8-Ball have to say for Skoo-Man? Don't be an asshole, 8-Ball. What does this say? It is certain. That's what the Magic 8-Ball has to say for you, Skoo-Man. It says it's certain. So I hope that helped in any way, shape, or form. So it looks like the legal issues grow. However, they are slow. It's a slow development for the members in that network that were working to delay. Big yup, Clover House anchor, gotcha. Again, with that anchor, though, the anchor is slow, okay, because it's so heavy. Like, think about when you anchor your ship, you're not moving anywhere. Yeah, you might do a little bit of this, dipping and rocking and rolling, but it's very slow moving. And here it's showing slow movement as well. So the legal problems become chronic. They grow, but it's slow moving. For tree is sitting in house garden. It's slow moving for the network of allies and friends that were delaying and obstructing. Okay. A very important meeting to where he has to answer. Also, those in the house as well. Right here. Because the house, not only is it home and property, but it's your close family. It's your sanctuary. Okay. And also something domestic, but I'm going to read it as Mo Brooks is in the house. Is he not? Hi, tribal woman. So it grows, but it's slow moving. And there's answers that need to be, so it's growing here, answers, and then here's the law. Now, the tower sits in house fish. Fish is very independent. So I'm wondering if this is members of the Freedom Caucus. Okay. And another way to interpret that, and I think we touched on this earlier, is an institution that has to do with wealth, finance, prosperity. Okay, so there may be something there with banks as well. Okay, because up here it's also showing problems with commerce and the transfer of wealth. There's a problem there. So look at it both ways. Okay. And then here we discussed this earlier. This is 1 year. This is 1 year minimum or lifelong. Okay. And it's prolonged, persistent suffering because it sits on house cross. Now, we could read this quite literally as if we follow this line here, okay, where the child sits, options and choices, alternatives, different paths to take. It could be quite literally roads, like a highway with many exits or roads that you travel on as a thing. Decisions. There's your bully right here with the the bear sitting in house child. Powerful children, okay, that are loyalist, that are trustworthy, that are very dependable, but they were being depended on to obstruct and delay. There's the administration and the network, and then the little people here. So we could also be looking at, because this is so widespread and vast in the network, and here with Lily's has to do with purity and virtue. Okay. So we could be looking at the peanut butter boys and those people that the creepers and all those other folk here, because here it shows prolonged suffering for them, sacrifice. Okay. Let me see here. And then here is the knowledge or the project that he has to answer to, secrets that are revealed or secrets about him, because books sits in house key, he sits in house man. Okay. Man sits on house scythe. He's in danger when the secrets or his knowledge of It could be a secret institution or knowledge about something in the institution and new goals. Okay. We could also be looking at schools here, an institution with books that have to do with children for little people and the goals there. So there's several ways to interpret that based on the context. But he's not here, so I don't know. I'm just kind of trying to read it every which way I can. So let's see here. So again, knowledge, projects, secrets, but he has to answer to the law here. And then now child also has to do with innocence. Okay. He may claim that he knows that he's innocent and he did nothing wrong, because birds, knights over here to child, talking, communicating, innocence. But there's evidence here with key back on him. But again, it's prolonged. Child sits on house, anchor. Okay. Hey, Estelle. And also because child has to do with new, it could be something that is starting. So in the early stages, starting. Okay. If that makes any sense at all. But it's slow. I wouldn't anticipate him getting perp walked within the next few months. Oh yeah, I know, T-Barb. I know. Well, here's the thing though. I'm kind of torn on that, if I'm being honest with you, T-Barb, because it's like kind of like what they were just reporting on today with the fake electors. I don't know what state it was in, if it was Georgia or Pennsylvania. I don't know. But when they were trying to get the fake electors to go and certify the election fraudulently, but that paperwork that they were given, they were told to not talk to anybody about it, to keep it secret. So like, that already tells me that that what you're doing is effed up. Because if you were in the clear, why would you have to be so secretive? Thank you, tribal woman. Why would you have to be so secretive about it? Unless you know that what you're doing, is kind of effed up. So there's also something down. I know. And here's the funny thing, which, you can't, it's totally kosher if they're doing it. If they're doing it, then they'll come up with 8 million thousand reasons why it's justified. Present them with the hypothetical that if Joe Biden or Kamala Harris were to do what they were intending to do, and watch their heads explode. So it's almost like we're allowed to do it, but nobody else is allowed to do it. You know what I mean? It's just, it's there's no logic. There's none. So anyways, down here, there's also private meetings and discussions about how they were going to lie to overturn the election and fight it in the courts. Here, lying about the change, fighting in court, the meetings that were had in private, phone calls that were had in private. But there's a lot of, he's also quite possibly, I don't care how nice and pretty he's looking. He's also quite possibly dealing with some chronic nervousness here. This is more like anxiety, but this is more nervousness. And it sits close enough to where it's affecting him, even though he's managing it because he sits above the birds. Also, this right here, one way to read this line right here in particular, smoke that brings pleasure, addiction for health. There's something here about perhaps something that he's arguing in regards to medicinal marijuana. That's another way to interpret this line. So anything gaseous, smoke, for pleasure, chronic, addictions, and then health this way. So I wouldn't, and because he's got fish over his head, I wouldn't be surprised if this son of a bitch fights medicinal marijuana. With his position, but somehow invests and makes money off of it. This is stock market. This is stock market. And right here, there's just this line right here, medicinal marijuana. Let me see. What else can I see in here? Sorry, I'm like trying to pick this thing apart. And also, if his elections are coming up, he's sitting pretty because he's, you know, this is his present line. The many, an abundance of opportunity and luck. There's him. You have bouquet in the house of dog. So people at home are very happy with him and he is successful. And then here it shows that he, power. And he goes here. So, you know, he's in favor of legalizing medicinal marijuana. I'm wondering if that still stands because now they're blaming marijuana, pornography, doors. I mean, you name it on the mass shootings that are happening. But this way it shows medicinal marijuana. And there's money to be made here. It's a business. Investments, commerce here. There's something here with commerce that he lies about. And then it's this right here. No, they're happy. If I follow this line, you have fish in the house of clover. The many in clover, opportunity and luck. Okay, then him. Bouquet on dog, happy supporters, happy loyalty, and then success here. And then dog over here in house. So people in his home are happy with him and what he has to say or what he has said or what he's speaking. They're happy with these four. And then this line here. I know, Terry. The argument is, I mean, absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, last I checked, nobody has ever died from an overdose of marijuana. Last I checked. You know. So let's see what else. They'll blame Hillary's emails and Hunter Biden's laptop. Lucky girl. Hunter Biden's laptop and Hillary's emails for the mass shootings. Uh-huh. Exactly, Terry. Exactly. Deborah, in Colorado, he has stock. I thought he was in Alabama. Marijuana isn't legal for recreational purposes in Alabama or medicinal purposes in Alabama. Is that correct? But he's looking at it more as a business venture because he's crowned here by fish, and then he's got ship right next to it. So he would gain very prettily, or he may have stocks in it or something, but there's medicinal marijuana and it's a business venture for him. Yeah, medicinal marijuana or recreational marijuana isn't legal in Alabama, is it? Exactly, Bismo. Willie Nelson, 89 years old. He's still alive. How many 89-year-olds do you know that are, or how many people that you know are addicted to, I don't know, opioids, like those drugs that the pharmaceuticals keep pumping out, that have lived to be chronic users of that stuff and lived to be 89? No, they all die. You know, I personally do not smoke marijuana, but I'm not against it. You know, you want to get high, get high. Just don't give me that shit that it's going to kill you and it's a gateway drug, and next thing you know, you're going to be whoring yourself out on the street corner for crack cocaine. I mean, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Now, if I read this line of influence, well, thank you it was nice seeing you again, T-Barb, and I'll try to come on tomorrow afternoon. Have a good night, my dear. Hey, Rondell. I know you're over on the other side of the world and in the future, but it's nice to see you. I've been on for like almost 2 hours now, so you might have to go back and catch us on the replay. You know who else I should do? Who's due for another review is Gates. And the only reason I'm saying that is because of this line right here. This line right here. Trafficking or delivering through transfer, okay? Him, the whip. The whip is addictions, it's abuse, it's something chronic, sex as well. Important, and then a child. I am not saying that he's involved in anything to do with moving minors for salacious stuff. But there's a friend in the house. Friend in the house, child, and then this. Okie dokie. Also, bouquet sits on house dog. So because of that, this is the 10 of Hearts. Is not necessarily a person, but it could be a boyfriend, okay? A companion, a boyfriend. Because he's got heart over him, this is affairs, okay? multiple affairs that are sexual around this little boyfriend person here. So I'm wondering if this is presenting as gates. So if this is gates, and I'm only speculating because of what I just said, follow him up this way. Multiple affairs, sexual, that were revealed and have come to light. Okay. And then transferring him, sex, important child, follow it up this way. Options and choices, power and finance, the friend in the house, and then the child. If that makes any sense. So perhaps this could be presenting as gates. So with that, if this is gates and this is Mo Brooks, and the only reason I'm going to read that as gates is because he's got a king of hearts here, jack of hearts here. This is 10 of hearts, and this is the 7 of hearts. So I'm just pairing it by pip. So if that is gates, what is their relationship, or why is he, if this is gates, why would he be presenting here? Why would he be presenting here? So in order to get him to talk to him, I need to go this way. Oh. So if I read this, man improves or changes the desire for power or finance, pleasurable sex, and then growing or solid friend, or branching out with the friend, growing, branching out. Okay. Hold on. But how do they connect? Because dog sits on mountain and mountain is right behind him. But this person is claiming innocence, though, that they're innocent. So how do they connect? Maybe they have common donors, because this is power and finance. And then if this is Gates, he is above Gates and he controls him too, because where the paw of the bear lands is here. So it's over him, and Brooks is over him. So it's like he controls and overpowers this person here. But there's financial reward. Powerful reward. Favors as well with the bouquet. Favors. Now, This can be read as a person as well because it's the King of Clubs. So I'm wondering if this is Trump, because it's the most problematic card. And it sits on House Storks, change, improvements, moving on, promotions. Okay. So the news about the transfer for Trump and the results that was agreed upon because letter sits on House ring. So this could be presenting as Trump. So if we read this card as Trump this way, he was pleased to fight in the courts or with the law, growing support to delay, and do something very dishonestly through fraud and manipulation, because this is virtue and harmony, and then fraud and people working together. So we could interpret this as Donald Trump, the King of Clubs for clouds. We can interpret that as him. Let's see here. There's a man here as well. A man here and a younger person here. So this could be someone that was very... Oh. This person here, there's two of them, a pair. Traditionally, this is an older pair, an older man and an older woman married. But it's also a card of two. And here we have the King of Hearts. The two very important people within the administration or the entourage. One may have had some sort of business dealings with energy. Energy person that is somehow involved in this whole fiasco, quite possibly, because this is energy too. And then the other one, because there's meetings here around energy. This would be gas energy. This is like energy, like this is gas, like vaporous. This is energy as in like, energy, perhaps fuel, fossil fuels, electricity. This is more like internet. There's also another person here that has some sort of communication and business dealings with social media. But there's two men. There's another man here that is okay. As time moves forward this way, the shit's gonna hit the fan for this person. This is the King of Spades. Okay. As a person, the King of Spades could have white hair, salt and pepper hair, graying hair. A person quite possibly of veteran status. So we could be looking at like a Michael Flynn or a Steve Bannon. I believe Steve Bannon was prior military, but there's a network of them though. And this sits on House Mice, so there's a team of them. So I can't tell you who this is because this is showing a network. I mean, I can only think of 2 veterans off the top of my head. There may be more, but it's showing a network here. And there's a team of them as well, because Lily sits on house mice and it knights to mice as well. Was Rick Perry still in the Trump administration, or did he leave before the insurrection? Because there's a business dealing here with someone that had to do with energy, big time energy, that brought Mo Brooks a lot of business success. But here, if I mirror these two, it's like 2 men. One is closer to energy. The other one is something around social media this way. He left before the insurrection. Well, there's someone here around energy. And I'm saying Rick Perry because that's the only person. There's a laundry list of people, and I'm sorry I can't give you names. It's just the first name that sprung to my head. When did Rick Perry leave, Terry? Do you know? Do you know when he left? Okay, so if I look at this would be a balding person. Someone balding. Balding or bald or partially bald. But there's 2 here. This shows a team of older white men, as well as the purist, I'll just put it that way. Thank you so much, Terry. Supremacist, because this is burdens and suffering, and then this is purity. So I'm going to look at the white supremacist here. But again, this shows up way ahead of him. So you might hear that 1, 2, 3, 4 in about 5 months' time this way. The link, how he's linked, because like I said earlier, the legal issues grow, but they're slow moving. And as time moves forward this way, they're more able to link him to the entire, this right here, the agreement to steal something and do something criminal. December 2019. And the insurrection was January 6th of 2020. It was January 6th of 2020, correct, Terry? So I'm wondering if this has something to do with Rick Perry as well. Because this shows someone that is an executive that worked within the administration that was very important to negotiating energy. So he left right before. So we could be looking at like a Rick Perry here. But again, there's 2. And if I follow this line here, it's multiples. And if I follow this, what sits right next to house, this is vast. Vast. Like huge. Huge. So I don't know how Rick Perry is linked here. Perhaps he was in the meetings and decided to skedaddle before the shit hit the fan and made out good in his business dealings before he left. But if I look at it this way, the results of energy, speaking to someone very important in the administration. So he may have gotten business tips. This would be stock markets in the business scheme from this person here, who was an executive. So I don't know. That's one. This right here, we're looking at the network of supremacists, as well as perhaps a few people that are of veteran status. And I can only think of 2 off the top of my head. That's not to say that there was only 2. There could be more, because if I follow this line of influence, multiple right here, dangerous, sharp, swift, and then here the supremacist, but also elders or people of veteran status. Again, with the mice in the house of clouds, we could be looking at the crazies from the Quackanoners. And if you follow these two lines down, well, this is your social media here. And up here, you got the Quackanoners. Anxious, crazy, dangerous people that are confused and irritable because it sits in house clouds. Dangerous and underhanded, blocking and delaying, vast network here in social media. Okay, so it's like it's all linked, not just with the fake electors, not just with the rally, but there's also a link to the quackers. Let me see. Brooks said that Biden's inauguration day revocation of Keystone XL permit was a gut punch to America as it killed jobs. Bullshit. He was making money. Business, him, pleasure, and gifts and rewards and energy. He's still making money off of energy. But he had conversations with a very important person in the administration that had to do with energy. And if this is Rick Perry, he's linked up here somehow. Did Rick Perry get subpoenaed by the 1-6 committee? I know that they've subpoenaed over 400 people. They've had over 400 interviews. I don't know if he was subpoenaed or if he went in and spoke with them or what, but this is like someone in the administration that dealt with energy this way. And then this way, someone in the administration that had a lot to do with social media. But that's a lot of them. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, just a ton of shit over there. Here, Bear Knighting over here to Lilies with the cross over it, white power, white nationalist. Here with the garden, because garden has to do with society and the public. And this is burdensome and grief and pain and suffering, white nationalist, opportunity with white nationalist this way. But again, this shows up ahead of him. Look for that link there that gets revealed down this column. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away from him. Where else can I look? Oath creepers or veterans? Well, this is veterans. Active duty military, veterans. And then here, a promise to sacrifice. So this could be your oath creepers here as well. A promise that is very difficult and burdensome, that requires a lot of discipline. Burdensome, painful, grieving, purity in a network. So oath creepers here. And then down this line here, it's hitting, and with this garden, Knights Here to Child, and with lilies over it, the little people, the peanut butter people. Okay. So we're looking at those groups, but also quite possibly outside of those groups in the society, in the public, in our country, because garden is here, that's society. We could also be looking at people that were advising and guiding, that were trusted aides, that are also supremacist, but we're closer to people in the administration. So not so much as an outside group. One could have something on social media here, or have something that is televised, or some sort of a show. This would be more like a talk show. This would be more like something on the internet or TV for the public. Okay, so I don't know if this would be like a Steve Bannon or what's the other idiot's name? Michael Flynn. Stuff like that. But the Oath Creepers and the Peanut Butter Boys, as it goes this way, that there's pain and suffering there for them. So not just the 11 that just got charged with seditious conspiracy, that there's more coming this way. The pictures that are online from here with Fox in the House of Heart, Knights over to Cross, Knights over to Scythe, Knights over to Stars. It sits far from Tower, though. But because the spy can, the Fox can kind of weasel things out. So I tend to look at the Fox sometimes as, a card that has to do with investigations. Just because they're so cunning and devious and they are very sly. This would be someone that's like undercover. So, perhaps this could be FBI. But there's might be something on the internet for the public to help identify. So it would be like, the FBI's wanted list for people that stormed the Capitol. So there's more of that coming 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 this way. Now, this line right here, the line of fate, another way to interpret this, simply because this has to do with very large buildings. So like the Capitol, tall, high rises, like hotels that are really, really tall, townhomes that are really, condos that are really tall, very large buildings. I'm wondering if they're able to identify who left the kaboom boom by a large building, and it looks to perhaps be linked to a little person here. Whose goal it was to cause suffering. This is the Jack of Hearts. He's got the King of Hearts above him. I mean, it's difficult to tell. But this carries kind of male energy. But, I'll leave that alone. But let's see here. So we could read this as learning about the government. And then new goals. We talked about that earlier too, perhaps something to do with schools and children, and prolonged suffering with children in schools. We talked about that earlier. Let me see another way to read this. Knowledge of something that is isolated. Knowledge, something that is isolated, and achieving innocence here. A project in the courts or with the law, and establishing innocence this way. But like I said, his legal problems are very slow moving, but they continue to grow. So I am pooped the F out, you guys. I still need to revisit the one from yesterday, Jim Jordan, because I had to cut that one short. You know what? Let me do something real quick. 28, 10, 14, 24, 12, 27, 25, 8, 16, 30, 23, 6, 17, 11, 19, 34, 2, 7, 3, 1, 9, 18, 21, 22, 5, 20, 31, 26, 33, 28. Okay. So his line of fate, I'm going to, that's his chain. I'm going to close this out and I'll pull his chain just to show you guys how he goes around. So man, scythe, fox, heart, birds. Let me do it this way. I'm going to close it out with his chain. Give me a second. Okay, so let's see. Man, scythe, fox, heart, birds. Where the hell is the birds? Oh, heart, birds. I have it here. Letter. Ring and coffin. Ring, coffin, stars, and lilies. Mice and clouds. Mice and clouds. Storks. Whip and tower. Okay, whip and tower. Fish and clover. Fish. Clover. Snake and ship. Snake or ship. Ship. Snake and ship. Writer. Writer. Bouquet and dog. Okay, bouquet and dog. Letter. No, mountain. 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 Crossroads. Mountain, crossroads, tree, garden. Sun. Book. And key. Okay. Move this up. So this is his chain around the Grand Tableau. It's a damn long chain. You all can see that. Okay, so this is his chain around the Grand Tableau. He decided to do something very underhanded. And he is also a danger man, danger. This is also work, okay? Let me see. And danger. Okay, if I read this as an investigation, there's something very passionate or that he desired, but there's voicemail for an agreement to end or an agreement that ends here. Success and his virtue is stolen or missing because of confusion, the insurrection here, and the fighting at the large building. An abundance of opportunity to lie about the transition to deliver the reward to the friends that were blocking and delaying. And then the election or the choices, multiple areas also that were being multiple blockages, okay, to grow problems. There's something here about the rally that he went to for success, and his secrets are out. He has to answer. But even if I follow this line, he's going to have trouble with the law. It's slow moving. It's not something that, so he decides to cut off the scythe, cut off the investigation here. A desire with birds, interview and meetings. The interviews and meetings. Okay. But there's voicemails, voice records, voice transcripts, meetings that are documented, negotiations that are documented, negotiating results. Okay, so that's even though he's decided to cut off the investigation and not participate, they have the receipts voicemails, voice transcripts, meeting notes, just not good. And then there's an agreement that comes to an end. So it's almost like we're done playing. Like he's gonna do this thinking that he's okay, but that there's an agreement that comes to an end. There's hope for peace here. That's one way to read that. Whatever was buried, whatever agreement ended, whatever contract ended, it's almost like it gets resurrected. It blows up. The virtue and the honesty, the harmony is stolen and eaten away at. This right here could be the vast purist that are crazies here. So, but he's linked up here. So even though we follow this, even though he cut off the investigation, okay, for a desired meeting or a desired interview, there's still, like I was saying, there's still voicemails and transcripts, receipts. And he did not make the agreement. He ended that agreement to speak from here forward. That agreement ended, but it returns here. It metastasizes. It's vast. There's going to have to be some patience required, okay? But that starts to dwindle away when the shit hits the fan. And it increases, adds to legal arguments here, legal problems, an increase in legal problems, fees from legal problems. There's also something here about business opportunities that were had by lying about the transition. Ship is here. So this would be the funding opportunities, paying, opportunity for payment, and then lying about the travel here for the visitors of the happy loyalists that were there to block. So he could also be tied or have knowledge of, because it ends here with book. He has knowledge. So he could have knowledge of who helped fund this for travel for the visitors, if that makes sense. And his secrets are answered, or his secrets are unlocked. They're opened. He's the solution, or he has part of, he was, how can I say this? Since Key goes back to his house, he was key to the solution of overturning the Capitol here. So changing and improving through fighting at a large building by the many this way. But also, as this line moves forward, even though he declined and has not, the agreement has ended for him to meet and interview with the investigation, it opens up here. If that makes sense. If this is a referral, okay, for the agreement ending, so his ending his agreement to go speak to the committee for the investigation, it opens here, if I'm making any sense. Let me see. it opens up here. Satisfaction is dwindling. Satisfaction is missing. Virtue is being eaten away at and causing problems and confusions. The change is disputed in the courts, adding to disputes in the courts. An abundance of opportunity or an abundance of risk, trouble, and lies. The transition. The committee successfully has knowledge of what he did. Yeah, it's like for now, they're going to let it slide. When he turned down the committee, because here it's saying that he has not agreed and has cut off the investigation to go in and have a meeting here, but he canceled it. He closed it off, but it shows back up here. But it's like I said earlier, the referral here, that agreement comes to an end. But as this thing opens up this way, how widespread it is, the widespread, and how long it took to plan this thing, it's probably goes back to before December. It probably goes back, because this would be December. This is nighttime. This would be like August. And this is June. The planning, if this is the team, the planning on how they were going to do this was way before December. This is August because of number 8. This is nighttime. This is June. This is change of seasons. And then here's November. So it long time planning, vast, widespread, perhaps people that had some sort of seniority, to steal something and cover it up. A team working together to steal something and cover it up. But it's like it only adds to the pile of disputes with the DOJ, if that makes any sense. But it's like he's going to have to answer here, because this whole line, he's going to have to answer. And here again, there's because once it gets to here, it shows that his problems in the court, they're adding to. It's going to be very difficult for him to improve his legal case. With this, there's an abundance of legal issues, legal disputes that he's going to have that are coming up for him. And then here, opportunities are false, opportunities to lie, opportunities for trouble, a risk that is very problematic. And then here we're seeing the delivery of another invitation. This one he can only block. He doesn't have a choice down this way, if that makes any sense. So this is like the delivery of something for him, delivering a gift, delivering a favor, delivering a surprise. it's like knock, knock, subpoena, and this time it's not going to be to the committee. It's within a large group of peers. Here, this is a large group of peers, public, society, a large body of people. And he has to answer with the key. So it's almost like it's looking like he skates out of the committee. But then there's another legal issue that comes up, whether that's through DOJ or somewhere else. There's another legal issue that shows up where he can't get off the hook for that one. But it takes a long time. Because Tree is very slow moving. Where was Tree? Tree is slow moving. But then he had child and anchor here. So it's only at the early stages. With the child, it's new. It's at the early stages. And then with anchor, anchor talks about stability and perseverance, but it's also very slow moving. This is a time card. And child is, for time, it's a year. This can be a lifetime or up to a 1 year minimum. So he's not off the hook yet, but for the timeline set for this tableau, it looks like it's just starting for him. So, and when the insurrection happened, 2020, correct? Was it January of 2020? Am I correct? I'm getting my stuff jacked up here. 2021. Okay. January of 2021. We're in 2022. It's already taken 1 year. Just 1 year of investigations. According to this, like I was saying, 1 year, this is 1 year minimum. Child is 1 year, anchor is 1 year minimum. Tree is very slow moving. It takes a long time to grow a tree. Okay, so for the timeline set in this grand tableau, I do not see the perp walk. I see this being moved by a woman, some sort of referral because of the link with the ship and the ring, woman and letter. It moves forward because he's linked, but it comes via some sort of paperwork. So I don't know. Last I heard, not Liz Cheney, the main guy, who's the main guy that is heading the committee. What's his name? I can't think of his name. I can't think of his name. I'm drawing Benny. There you go, lucky girl. Thank you, Benny. I think Benny was saying that they were apprehensive about or not considering referring members of Congress. If I'm reading this correctly, there's a woman here that mails it out. So I don't know if this is, when we looked at this earlier, this was looking like it could be a Liz Cheney. Okay. If she's the one that sends it, the referral, if I'm looking at the corners. Watergate was from 1972 to 1974. So this is going pretty quick, actually, given that most is better recorded and documented. Well, yeah, correct, Cheryl Gibson. But these morons were stupid enough to just, whatever. But, it's taken over a year. No, that's not Mo's boyfriend. He doesn't have a boyfriend. It's taken 18 months now or something like that. And we're just now getting to the public hearings, and what we've seen, the arrests and everything have been primarily the insurrectionists themselves, the people that went to the Capitol and were violent, with the exception of Peter Navarro that was just handcuffed. So if I'm interpreting this correctly, about a year and a half, maybe two. And with the tree right here, it's slow. So, again, to reiterate the timeline that I set here, I don't see the perp walk anytime soon within the 1 year timeline that was set for this tableau. If anything, it looks like there's a woman that mails it out because he's linked. Okay. So let's see what happens. But this is within the year. So I'm not saying, and the woman shows up way over here at the last row. And then it flips back around. So this is June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. This would be the column for January when that referral comes in. So I'm not saying it's going to happen next week, next month, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, just because she lands all the way over here and then it wraps around and letters way over here. So, you know, maybe they're waiting until after elections because they don't want to, you know, have any look like they're being, you know, any what do you call it, impropriety, you know. So maybe that's part of the reason. I'm not quite sure. So we'll have to see. So I still need to revisit the one that we did for Jim Jordan. This one got cut off short, so I need to redo this one. So we did Mo Brooks, and then I still have Scott Perry, and I think it's Andy Briggs, because there were 5 people in the house that were subpoenaed. McCarthy we already did. Jim Jordan, that's the one that I got cut off on. We did Mo Brooks tonight, so I have 2 more. And then we can look at some other stuff too. But like I was saying, I took tomorrow off and Friday off just to give myself a break because my brain has been like stressed out with family stuff going on. So I will try to be on in the afternoon so we can all watch the hearings tomorrow night. So keep an eye out for that. I'm not quite sure what time I'll go live. And like I said, if this is Liz Cheney here, she's looking good in her elections. She's got the support at home. Okay. Even though they've tried to push her out, she looks good. Simply because she's got lilies over her head. And she's got stars really close by. Okay. So, and she sits on house moon. So she's well honored, and she's got garden in the house of sun. So the public in her hometown sees her very, very favorably. So she's looking good. I don't know what the polls are like for her in Wyoming. But if I'm interpreting this tableau correctly, and this is Liz Cheney, she's looking good for her elections, even though they've, you know, let's not get it twisted. She ain't our friend, but even though they've put a smear campaign out on her just because she dared go against, you know, the orange cockroach that resides in Mar-a-Lago. You know, so there's that. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. I hope that wasn't too much. It is 10:30 here. I hope I didn't keep everybody too late. So thanks again, everybody. And I hope to see you guys again tomorrow. And thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much to my moderators. You guys are great. And I will see you mañana. Bye-bye.